The pom-pom I made a few years ago that adorns my winter hat sheds every time I wear it. So when I made this hat for a dear loved one, I knew I had to rethink my pom-pom strategy. I, of course, turned to YouTube. I used a tutorial that I'm actually not going to name here because I think my experience had more to do with me than any kind of failing on their part, and I don't want to tarnish their name. The idea is that you cut 2 Cheerio shapes out of cardboard, each with a little bite taken out of them. You wrap your yarn around the 2 layers of cardboard, cut the loops of the yarn so they become little strips of yarn, and slide a tail of yarn between the 2 pieces of cardboard so that you can tie all those strings of yarn together. I wanted a big, dense pom-pom, so I made a Cheerio bigger than that shown in the tutorial, which is perhaps where I started going wrong. I started with a cardboard box. I thought this would be a great opportunity for my new X-Acto knife, but I quickly remembered how annoying it is to cut into cardboard, even with a sharp X-Acto knife. I was really focused on trying to make neat cuts and ensuring that my inner circle was at the center of my bigger circle, but in retrospect, I really don't think either of those things matter all that much. I then started wrapping my yarn around the cardboard Cheerios, but my yarn was bulky and I quickly realized that my inner circle was too small, so I changed course. I cut new Cheerios out of thinner cardboard using a much bigger inner circle and a slightly bigger outer circle. This was working a lot better until it came time to cut my yarn. I think probably because I had too big of a circle, it was hard to keep the yarn in place. To avoid having a totally deconstructed pom-pom, I stopped cutting and used a tapestry needle to slide the tail of my yarn in between the 2 pieces of cardboard before I cut the rest of the yarn loops. This worked pretty well, although when I tied all the yarn together, it still didn't feel secure enough. I could pull out individual yarn strips without much effort. I tied my tail around a couple more times and it felt more secure, but I guess only time will tell. I was satisfied with its structure, but not happy with how it looked. It was too big, the individual pieces of yarn were too long, so I gave it a pretty intense haircut and was much happier with how it looked in the end, but probably could have saved myself a lot of trouble by just making a smaller Cheerio in the first place. I really try to use what I have, and I thought that I'd be telling you that pom-pom makers are just baloney, but this experience has actually made me think that if I want to make pom-poms with any kind of regularity, a pom-pom maker would be quite nice to have. It does feel like something that you could get secondhand though, so I'll be keeping my eyes peeled.